Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Robert Lynn Pruett. Robert Lynn Pruett was a Texas man convicted and executed for the 1999 murder of TDCJ Correctional Officer Daniel Nagle at the McConnell Unit, B County. Pruett had been certified as an adult at 16 and was already serving a 99-year sentence for his involvement in the murder of Ray Yarborough, which occurred when Pruett was 15. Pruett was convicted along with Howard Steven Pruett Sr., his father, who received a life sentence for his participation in the murder, and Howard Steven Pruett Jr., his brother, who received a 40-year sentence. Howard Sr. testified that neither son took part in the killing, as did Robert, who was nonetheless convicted under the Texas law of parties. Details of both the Yarborough and Nagle murders were featured in the BBC documentary Life and Death Row Crisis Stage. Pruett also consistently denied involvement in Nagle's murder, and his defense attorney stated that what convicted him was the testimony of 4 or 5 convicts who received deals of one kind or another in exchange for the testimony against Pruett. Pruett was executed on October 12, 2017, and died by lethal injection when appeals for clemency to the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles were unsuccessful. Pruett was represented by the Texas Innocence Network, and his attorneys pursued his innocence claim by appealing the denial of his DNA relief through the courts. While in the Texas death row at the McConnell Unit in Livingston, Pruett received 4 stays of execution. His previous execution dates were as follows: May 21, 2013, May 21, 2014, April 28, 2015, April 27, 2016. Conviction. A Nueces County jury found Pruett guilty of capital murder on April 24, 2002. The only witnesses to Nagle's murder were inmates. Nagle, who was the president of the AFSCME union local that represents McConnell guards, had complained that low pay, high turnover, and poor training of staff were turning Texas prisons into powder kegs. Nagle told supporters at the rally at the governor's mansion that someone would have to be killed before TDCJ got the message. He was murdered 2 weeks later. Some correctional officers stated that corrupt CO's dirty bosses were in league with prison gangs and that they and the gang associates inside were involved with his murder. There was no physical evidence linking Pruett with the murder, which he claims he did not witness or participate in. Nagle was killed as a result of a stabbing with a prison shank. Weeks after the stabbing, correctional officers at the McConnell Unit were indicted for colluding with inmates to traffic drugs. Eliseo Martinez, one of the correctional officers interviewed during the investigation into Nagle's death, was arrested in late January 2000 for transporting a package believed to have contained $60,000 in laundered drug profits for inmates. Martinez claimed Pruett had told him he possessed a homemade shank during the investigation. In 2014, Pruett's post-conviction writ of habeas corpus was denied, with Judges Alcala and Johnson dissenting. In April 2017, Pruett's appeal was dismissed by the Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. The ruling that stated that the inconclusive DNA results wouldn't have had any effect on his conviction and death sentence had they been available during his 2002 trial. Judge Elsa Alcala wrote in a concurring opinion that it appears there may be significant problems with the evidence of guilt and with the imposition of the death penalty in this case, and that the court should permit further litigation on appellant's post-conviction challenges in which he has sought to undermine the validity of his guilt and death sentence. Pruett had written for Inmate Blog minutes before 6. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to